Okay, so this is V25, and then looking at the monthly time frame, you can see that the guy has been on a kind of a bullish and a bearish trend. You can see the kind of harmonic pattern for those that trade harmonic pattern, and then you can see this and then here looking at this, it's very clear that if that can come up around there we see price going down the more. But this is monthly. Let's go to weekly to see what price has been doing. So for the weekly, we can see that price gave a bullish trend, and then we had a kind of a bearish trend, and then we had a short bullish trend, and then we had a bearish trend that is still going bearish. So let's take the movement one after the other. So I'm going to scale down to my daily to see very clearly what price has been doing over the years. So this is daily, guys. Let me go to H4 for a clearer perspective. So we'll see price. This happens to be the origin of the price movement. Here is the origin. Here is the origin, and then you can see the high, the low. This is the high, this is the low, and then price came up as if it came to create a lower high, but then this structure was respected. So we can't, this lower high is not validated because this push, this high, this structural point didn't break this last structural point. But then we now notice that price went up before the formal and official break of structure. So this happens to be our last structural point before this swing that broke structure. So based on this knowledge, we can say that this happens to be our last structural point. And by reason of that, price came down, lower high, lower low, right? Lower high, lower low. But then after this break of structure, we're going to be expecting that price will give us a push upward. Please take note of this time frame. This is H4. This is H4 now. We scale down our bias from the monthly down to the weekly, down to the daily, and this is the H4 time frame. I'm choosing this time frame because it's kind of stable. At least it will give us a broader perspective of what price is doing. So we are in between now. We are in between the lower time frame and the higher time frame, which I think makes a lot of sense since we don't have the whole day to backtest this asset. But at least whatever knowledge you can get from here, you can use it to do your own personal backtesting when you get home. You can even scale down to M1 and then backtest. So what happened here? Price went up to create a lower high, and then we saw that swing that broke structure. However, we would have been expecting price to come up somewhere around here, but then price turned back here. So price turned back here. Price turned back here. Why did price turn back here? Well, the first thing I would like to establish, let me see the move. This guy didn't even touch the 50%, but at least price went down. So why did price tank down from here? Why not here? Why not this other block? Why not this other block? Why not this other block? Why here? Well, if you follow the boot camp, we talked about a move like this. This is the last structural point, then price came down. This move. Yeah. This zone is a valid reason for price to turn back from. From what we've learned so far, what do we call this zone? What do we call this? From what we've learned so far, what do we call these guys?
Flip zone.
Flip zone, and then there's another name we call it. I think I took this
Breaker block.
joking. Sir?
I think it's breaker block.
Breaker block. So price came down.
Mitigation.
Price came down and then came back to test. We are looking at the reason why this guy came down.
Breaker block, sir.
Breaker block. Price came down and still came back to test the breaker block. So the first thing we are seeing here is the breaker block. The breaker block. Meaning, well, this is the first we are seeing, but at least we can establish from this first that breaker block is of great significance to V75. So price tanked down from that breaker block and came to create a new low. And then from there, created a new low. Why didn't price come here? At least this is a new low, right? We should have been expecting price to come back into the last structural point. But then price did something very, very interesting, which happens to be a repetition of what happened here. Another breaker block was respected. Another breaker block was respected. So when price came down here, expecting price to move down to this place. If I scale down to a lower time frame, I will see liquidity sweep here. Because of these two candles and this push up, I'm going to see liquidity sweep here. But then price didn't even go there, and then price just respected the breaker block and then came down. And then what happened? Price came up to this last order block. And then we saw it tanking down. So this now becomes the last structural point. So price came down from here, and then we begin to see a kind of move that may look a little bit interesting. We are seeing a series of higher highs and higher lows. But if you have a good understanding of what we've been discussing over the weeks, you will know that these are internal movements. Why? Why do I call this internal movement? Our last structural point is here. Is here. And until price breaks that point, we can't assume that there is a break of structure. So price came here to play and then to deceive those that don't have a good understanding of structure. Like we always say that structure is very, very important. It is the primary knowledge that is needed in your journey in forex. You need to understand the order flow. You need to and you can't understand the order flow without understanding the structural pattern of the market. Structure is like the price language. It's like I'm speaking English now. Structure is like the language that the chart speaks to you. So when you open your chart, how do you know the price is bullish? You know, of course, it's bullish because it's creating higher highs and higher lows. How do you know the price is bearish? It's bearish because you understand that you are seeing series of lower highs and lower lows. That's the language of the price. That's the vocabulary that the price comes to tell you. So from here, we can see that price came from here, didn't break this structure, and then we saw it tanking down. We saw it tanking down from here. So why did price turn back from here, this highest point? Let's see what happened there. Why did price turn back from here? Price turned back from here. Why did price turn back from here? Let me go to a lower time frame to see what's up. Okay, so can you tell me why price turned back from here for you, for those that can see my charts? Can you tell me why price
There's a
turned back
cube
from
there.
here? There's a
There's
cube
a
here.
cube there.
There is a cube here. So we can see V75 respecting the breaker block, and we can see V75 respecting the cube. So you may not see a full retest back to the institutional candle, but at least we can see from these few examples that V75 is usually interested in your breaker block and is usually interested in your cube. So let's say you've been spotting this now. You saw this now. You had your first entry here. Whatever happens, happens. And then you add your second entry here. Second entry here, which happens to be the fill of the imbalance, and maybe your stops here. In fact, let me check each one and see what's up. Now it's very clear here. It is very clear here. So the fill of the imbalance is here. So if you want to refine this now, you can have this place as your first entry, and then you have this second point now as your second entry. Second entry, and then price came to the fourth entry, tapped the cube, and then dived down. So you entered here. This place would have been your take profit if you don't want to follow the swing. This place would have been your take profit. Price came down, kissed your first entry, and tanked down, smashed your TP. Smashed your TP. And then what happened after then? Price broke structure, came here to retest. So this place becomes our new structural point, being the lower high. And then this place becomes the last lower low that created the push for the lower high. Are you guys still with me? Am I making sense? Am I making sense, guys?
Yes, you are.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
Yes, sir.
looking at this move now, let me draw my premium and discounts. This is the second time the V75 will be breaking the law of premium and discount zone, because ordinarily we should expect this guy to move above, at least we should sell above the 50%. But this is the second time this guy will be breaking that law of premium and discount, which means V75 can also be prone to breaking the law of the premium and discount zone.
Service 75.
You said?
No, sir. The service 75, not 25.
V25. That must be a mistake. V25. This is V25 now. We are looking at V25. This is V25. So we've observed three things now. Number one, V25 respects the breaker block. Number two, V25 respects the cube, the smart money cube. And then number three, V75 is prone to violating the premium and discount zone, the premium and discount block. Please, let's type these three things inside the group. Let's type it sharply inside the group and drop it there. Respects breaker block, respects smart money cube, is prone to violating the law of premium and discounts. Prone to violating the law of premium and discount. Because this is the second time we're going to be seeing this type of move now. This is the second time. And then it's repeating itself. So let's type it, please. I'm waiting for us. Let's type it. Let's drop it on the group before we move further. Let's drop it, guys. Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. So, okay, so we move. So, we move. So, this guy came up and turned back. Look at this move. Look at this. Imagine missing out of this move. But it's fine. At least you've been catching your pips from here. This is a very sweet bullish move. You've been catching your pips. So if you miss this one, it's fine. I mean, it's good. But why did price turn back from here? Let's go down. Let's see exactly what happened. Let's see exactly what happened. Why price turned back from here? Let's see it. Okay. So I'm seeing that there is a mini structure here that you may not see even on that higher time. So let's see this. Higher, high, low, high, low, high, low. And then price came up here. So let's say, let me draw my box to see. Let me draw to see. So this guy didn't take out. He didn't take out this guy. He still closed within this guy. So this guy actually moved within the lower time frame structure. It moved within the lowest. It respected the lower time frame structure. We saw this thing happen somewhere around here. Let me see if that's what happened also. Where is that thing? Where's that move? I think it's here. I think I'm right. Okay, let me see where price turned back. So maybe we can also use that to validate. Okay, this one eats 50%. So which one again? Which one? I saw one that didn't eat 50% now. Okay, this. Okay, so this didn't eat 50%. Well, let me see what happens. Let me scale down and see what happened here. Let me see what happened here. Okay, so still internal structure. High, low, high, high, low, high, low, high, low, high. So drawing my fibs from here, looking at the internal structure, you can see actually that this guy moved above the 50%, a validation for this sell. But looking at the higher time frame is not a good bias to sell. So if you are trading based on the higher time frame, you may not want to take this trade. But then if you are the type that maybe all these intraday scalpers, is a good setup for you. I mean, it's a very, very good setup for you. High, low, high, break of structure, came back to retest and even turned back from the cube. And then dived down. So looking at the lower time frame, let's see, looking at the lower time frame, the 61 to 78% coincides with the presence of a cube, and then we see that price turn back from there. So what can we say about this now? We've seen two examples of this now. The first one happened here, the second one happened here. Price, using the higher time frame, price didn't reach the zone where we should sell from, but then price turned back. So scaling down to the lower time frame, we actually noticed that price gave us a good structural pattern, a good structural idea for us to sell from there. And then price went down from there, and it gave a big and huge move. You can imagine this move. Guys. See this move. So what can we say now about this? So if you are trading VIX25, it's highly important for you to do a kind of interplay of different time frames. If you are trading H1, for example, you scale down to M30 or M20 to have the micro view of what price is doing. It will give you a better perspective of what may happen should, in case if your higher time frame bias won't play out as planned. So if I've been waiting for price to come back here now, and then all of a sudden I began to see a kind of reaction here somehow, I can scale down to my lower time frame to see why price should turn back from there. And it gave you a good bias why price should turn back from there, and price turned back. And going back to history, it happened here also. The same thing that happened here also. Which means if I see this kind of thing next time, I shouldn't be afraid to take it. I mean, it's a very, very good deal. I shouldn't be afraid to take it. And then price came down. Look at this move. Price came down. See, boom, boom, boom. So price didn't come up here, but price turned back here. Why did price turn back here? It's very evident. This is H1 though. It's very evident. What's this, guys? What's this?
King got that block.
KOB.
Let me even see if it didn't touch itself. It didn't touch that KOB. It just filled the imbalance because there was an imbalance before the KOB. This imbalance. Price just filled the imbalance and then came down. It didn't even touch the KOB. It didn't touch it. So something interesting happened here. I'm seeing something interesting. High, low, high. Is there a break of structure here? Let me switch in my charts. What's happening here? Okay, price broke structure to the downside. So this happens to be our new structural point as far as this trend is concerned. So price came down, broke structure downward, came up, came back up to retest here. So what happened? This guy just kissed the open of that institutional candle. This candle that did a clean sweep of all these retail candles. So price came to kiss the open. See guys, see that thing. See that smart move. See that smart move, guys. And then price came down. It's in fact no drawdown at all. And then came down to create a new low. But something happened here also. Why did price turn back from here? Well, price should be able to turn back because it's above 50%, I think. Number one. Number two, I think that's it. For me, I would think that's the reason why price. That's the only reason why price came down. Because if you want to look at the mini structure, let's say high, low, and the price even took out this last mini structural point. There was a kind of a sweep of this last mini structural point before the down movements. So looking at this, if you plan to take this trade now, based on the history now, you would have been stopped out here because of this devilish thing that happened there. And then we saw the move downward from here downward. So I'll be expecting price to come down to this place, especially because of that sweep that happened here. I will see this guy as a big traitor. I will expect price to come back to here, but then price. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me, please? I don't even know what happened.
Yes, we can hear
Can you
you.
hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
I hear you.
So price came down, and we had a kind of retest. Of course, price didn't come back to this place. But what happened? Why did price turn back from here? I've moved down. I've moved down to a lower time frame. Okay, I think it's even clearer on that edge. It's even clearer on that edge. So price came back here. What happened here? Let me go back to my lower time frame to see why price turned back from here. This is John. Let me do M30. Okay, now we see what's up. Now we can see why price turned back from there. You see why it's important for you to switch between time frames, that you can have a broader perspective of what price is doing and will likely do in the future. And then we saw the retest and another break of structure. And then price didn't come back here. So why did price come back here? Let's see again. Why did price turn back here? M30. Okay. It's an imbalance. So price just tapped the open. Not even 50%. Price tapped the open of that imbalance and then we're down, which is of course is price is allowed to do his thing. So price went down, created a new low, and then we've been seeing there was a kind of a ranging from here down, although it's a kind of dynamic liquidity building up here. It's a dynamic liquidity building up. So seeing this thing, You didn't need the prophet to tell you that there will be a sharp move downward, because these guys must be taken out. All these things you see, this needle, all these all these needle pins that you are seeing, they must be weaked out. They must be weaked out. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's only price that can determine that. But we are sure and certain that these guys will be weaked out. And then price came to weak them out as you should expect, and price went up again. So price took out retail traders here and still came up to take out these ones also. So if you have been selling and buying from here, okay, selling and buying from here, whichever position you are taking, either sell or buy, price will take you out. Price took you out, boom, took out sellers, took out buyers, and then continued. So the same thing that happened here also. The same thing that happened here also. So there was a sharp move up to take out all sellers, and there was a sharp move down to take out all buyers. And then the buy trend began. So ordinarily, if I was focusing on these assets from year to year, I would have just been looking and relaxing. Because if it's there, it's there. If it's not there, it's not there. All these places, all these ones that we've been seeing, all these places that we've been seeing, there was no contemplation. It's there, you place your trade. If it's not there, you leave it. But when you now get to a point where everything is looking somehow, like what is happening? Is it not B110 now? Like, you know, this kind of move now. Look at this B10 now, B1K now. This is the daily. Oh. See what daily is doing on B10. Oh. This is not a clear. There's nothing clear about this one. So you just forget the assets and then just do other things with your life. The same thing that happened here is what happened on V25 here. Look at price just giving a lot of pulls, a lot of liquidity, and taking people out anyhow. And then after all these things happened, you can see that there was a strong move to the upside. A strong move to the upside, which happens to be a kind of a move to form a new lower high. So if you've been following your weekly buyers, how does that move? Let me go to daily. Okay, so if you be following your daily buyers, you will know that is an attempt to create a new high, which actually happened there. You can imagine after this long sell that you've been enjoying, you've been catching, you should expect price to at least breathe a little bit, and that's exactly what happened there. So going back to my H1. So price, after the old Jagba movement from here, price, let's see what happened here. Price, there was a kind of sweep here. High, low, high, and then liquidity, plus imbalance. Plus imbalance. So price came back to play which one? Price didn't feel it, but price took out the 50%. Price didn't feel it, but price took out the 50%. and we saw the high push upward. We saw the high push upward. Really, you're going to see it as low, high, right? Low, high, low, high, break of structure, came back to retest this Shina candle, came back to give evidence of the sell, and then we saw a deep down movement. And then we can see price also came back, created pull to take to created a kind of upward pull, which is also dynamic. I would have been expecting price to come here or probably come here, but the guy came down here, imbalances here, and then still created a new low. Let me see H4 to see why this is happening. Okay, now the H4 is giving us a clear perspective of what price did. So low, high. Remember, all the moves we've been catching, they are inner structures of the main higher time frame. So let's not forget that although our focus, we've been focusing on the higher time frame, but we scaled down to the lower time frame to see possible moves, and then we can see the possible moves that we've been seeing over the time. The only benefit of this higher time frame is that it gives you I won't say escape route, but it reduces the noise of all these liquidity pools. It reduces the noise. So if you are not sound in trading pools and takeouts and all this stuff, it's just better to stay with your higher time frames. And of course, you need a good capital to do that. So low, high, low, came back to test a cube, created a new low. Let me see. Created a new low. And then still there was a sweep above this last low. So this is the third time V25 will be doing this. This is the third time V25 will be doing this, even both on lower time frames. We can see low, high, low, high, low. This break of structure is very clear. So clear. In fact, let me use the line. So clear. And then this guy still, there was a taking out of this last structural point. And of course, you can see what price did. Price now tanked down. Tanked down big time. Big time. And then the trend changed from the bullish to the bearish. So let's see what was played. So the low, high, low, high, low, high. Remember this higher time frame came back to retest what this candle. Came back to retest this candle. Came back to retest this candle. In fact, we saw a lot of retests before the bullish move. So market move from here down here. Market move from here down here. So what has been happening? You see what happened here again? You see what happened? Low. Okay. Now I see price didn't take out this thing now. It didn't take out this guy. Okay, so lower time frame structure, low, high, low, high. So this is actually internal formation of internal liquidity. This is a formation of internal liquidity. And then I'm seeing a gap here. I'm seeing a gap. focus on this bullish trend. Let's focus on bullish trend. So this is daily. Let me go back to my H2. So what's happening? What happened? So this guy broke structure. This is H2 and came back to retest. To retest where? I'm seeing an imbalance here. This one fills the imbalance. So for V25 now, we've seen a fill of imbalance. We've seen a fill of imbalance. We've seen the tap of the open of imbalance. We've also seen 50% of imbalance. So there's no bias for specific imbalance play for V25 now. There's no bias for it, and then price came down. And I think from my own perspective also, if V5 wants to move, it moves well and it gives evidence before moving. It gives chance for re-entries, unlike V10 1X that we checked yesterday. It's hard for V10 1X to give re-entries, but from what I've been, this guy didn't fully come back to 50% and then went down. So it's just a repetition of so many things. Repetition. If you scale down now and you go and check the movement of this, let me do it, maybe H1, you're going to be seeing amazing moves. Low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. I mean, high, low, high, low, high, high, low, high, low. It's just that's V25 for you. I think when I started trading synthetics, I started trading V25. I started trading V75 actually. I was introduced to V75, and then after a lot of burning of fingers, I started trading synthetics when V75 was ranging. Then we usually move $200 to. In fact, my first funded account was I funded $100, and then I moved that $100 to $2,000. I withdrew $1,000. I left 1,000. Then we used to knock myself and Jones. We used to knock 0.05, 0.1 of V75. That move is so predictable. Ranging market, but when that market stopped ranging, then they now changed binary to Deriv. I think Deriv bought the company from binary, and then we started losing and losing and losing. There was no knowledge then. We didn't see reasons why we should not be trading. We were just trading emotionally, and then at the end of the day, we gave Deriv back the money we made from them. In fact, more than what we've made from them. So it's still the same thing. I lose. See this move. See these moves. See these moves now. See these moves. So let me go to the current price. Where price is at the moment. Okay, so this is what price is doing right now. Let me go to daily to see what's up. Okay, so from daily high, low, price just broke out of the structural point. So we should expect price to retrace. But based on the past history of V25 now, I can see that it may not even come here before it continues to go down. Let me see if the journey is still far. Well, this is all-time low actually. So anything can happen. Price can decide to come back to either this place or this zone before they push back. So we still have more room to the downside. So let's go to the weekly then. I've seen this now. So I'm expecting price to come back, but I'm seeing a fresh break of structure even on the weekly time frame. To the downside, see high, low, high, low. So the journey of this guy to the downside is just starting now. High, low, high, low. So price can decide to come here because this is a big imbalance on daily. There may be a feel of the daily imbalance. Let me scale down to H12 to see what exactly is happening. The price can decide to come back to fill this imbalance, and based on the track record, V25 may not even come here. V25 may not come back here. It will just come around somewhere around here, and then just dive down back. High, low, high, low, high, low. This guy can come back here now and continue to sell, or come back here and continue to sell. So we just go and wait for the break of structure on the higher time frames. High, low, high, low, high, low, high. So this guy can come back here now. These are possible points of interest. If I see high, low, high, low, high, imbalance. Another imbalance is here. Another imbalance is here. In fact, I think I give this imbalance already. And with this bullish move that I'm seeing, these heavy candles, this guy can take out this last structural point. If he takes out this last structural point, the probability of V25 coming back to somewhere around this place is slim. It's very, very slim because this is H2 time frame. It's very, very slim. So that's that. Let me come to H1 to see what's happening. Okay, if this guy breaks here, can come somewhere around here and continue to sell. See how I scale down from monthly down to M30, down to M30 to spots. Opportunities. So guys, let's talk. What can we say about V25? What can we say about V25? Let's talk. What can we say about V25? Are you guys hearing me at all? Nobody wants to talk?
Good evening.
Hello.
I think it respects the cap candle more.
Yeah, the
And
breaker block.
doesn't really respect the Fibonacci ratio.
Yeah. That was established earlier. It's prone to defiling the law of the premium and discounts. Thank you. Any other? Come on. Yeah. How many on this call? Let's be active. We are 42 on this call. Let's be active. Or should I start calling names? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. like from what we have seen so far, it gives, once it's about to change the break of structure, it gives a chance for re-entry.
Yes. That's true.
Yeah.
It gives chance for re-entry. At least we've seen from this backtesting now, on that time, we've seen about 5 to 6 spots of re-entries, which actually shows the character of that asset. V25 is actually a very, very beautiful asset to trade, especially for those that are having small capital. It's very, very good to trade. Like you can see how once it starts moving, it can take you out several times before it starts moving. But once it starts moving, you will catch good pips from it. You will catch, good pips from it. It's a very, very amazing asset. So predictable. So predictable. Thank you very much. Any other? Okay, Mr. God's time. What can you say, sir? Mr. God's time. If you are still with us, what can you say about V25? Okay, he's not here. He's asleep.
Let's respect KOB.
KOB. I think we saw only one KOB. Okay, yes. KOB on higher time frame.
Respect King OB. And again,
Yes.
mostly respect breaker block.
Yes, breaker blocks. Thank you. Who else? Messi.
Okay. So I also noticed one thing again.
Okay.
I noticed that it gives lower time frame entry.
Yeah, someone said it earlier. It gives reaccumulation and redistribution very well. Very well. So that's why I said it's a very, very good asset for those that have small capital. You will see evidence of the buy that you want to pick. Unlike V101X, once it moves, it moves. It will be difficult to catch re-entry, but at least V25 is a very, very good. I've milked this V25 very well. Very, very well. Very, very well. It's a very, very amazing asset. Messi, are you still with us? Messi, are you still with us? Okay, she's asleep. Let me call two more positive points before we go tonight. Mr. Judah, are you still with us? Mr. Judah, are you still with us? If not, Mr. Sylvester, are you still with us? You guys are keeping mute intentionally, right? Messi, I'm still waiting for you. Okay. You are scoping me on private chat. Nobody should come and scope me here.
Sorry, sir.
Stop.
Yeah. What's your view on the 25 right now? Should we buy or we should just go from the market? No, should we say rather?
Okay. Well, you can't sell this guy now because even looking at the H1, whatever, it's even late to sell. You can't sell this guy now. This is high. This is a low. Yes, we've established that V25 may not retrace into this list. So this may be the end of the retracement. And look at this large candles that is being printed already in the last 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. So If I would just advise that let's watch what V25 will do around here. If it breaks this place, then you can come and wait for entry here. Do you understand?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. If you guys don't want to talk, any question? In the absence of other question, I'm going to call it a day. Let me see who is supposed to take tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Any question?
I have a question.
Okay, sir. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Hello, sir.
I'm with you, sir. We can hear you. We can hear you, sir. Okay, maybe you should drop your question, drop it in the group, and it will be attended to.
Sir, how do you scale down your market? Yeah, sir. I just need how.
I didn't get your question.
Let me say on H4. You are on H4 and you want to scale down.
Okay, I think I understand what you are saying. If you're on H4, and you have a POI on your H4, that means you are having.
I guess his network is bad.
Okay, can you drop your question? Drop it, type it, and drop it to be attended to. Mr. Ghosttime, type your question and drop it. Your network is bad. It will be attended to. Type it and drop it. So thank you everybody for joining the call today. Tomorrow we are moving ahead to take a good look at V25 on X. And I hope it's been making sense, and you guys have been gaining at least a lot from the backtesting session. Like I said, open a journal. It doesn't necessarily need to be a journal. You can create a channel. You have Telegram gives you the opportunity to create a channel for yourself. Create a channel for yourself and call it your journal. Title it as your journal, and then all these things that we've been saying about different assets, just put it there every day. Drop your markups there, your before and after, drop it there. If you want to do a kind of a review of your trading activity at the end of the year, you just go to the chart and check and draw out inferences and conclusions from what you've done over the years or over the months. And it will inform your decisions in the next phase of your trading. Meaning you are not expected to trade blindly, you're expected to trade with a plan. There should be a plan that you must follow, and it will be difficult for you to plan if you don't have anything to fall back on, if you don't have anything to serve as a reference for you. So please, if you don't have hardware, create a channel for yourself and name it yourself. You can name it maybe Chris Benny Journal, or God's Time Journal, or Prayer Journal, or Bryce Journal, or Judah Journal, or Debbie Journal. You know, to really help you a lot. Thank you very much for joining the call tonight. We'll continue again tomorrow, same time, same channel. Cheers and God bless you. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.